Good evening and welcome. I'm Sheila Balgobin and I am the Dream Decipherer, and I help you to crack the code of your sleep and dreams so you can sleep sound and dream deep. This evening, we have storage and carnival going on. So let's get into this and see what's going on. The dreamer reports that they stumbled upon a warehouse which was being used as a by an organization as a film studio with various rooms and different activities that were taking place. The director of this studio was a woman, and the various scenes being enacted or that were going on involved different groups of dancers and actors. Many of them were women who were wearing these really wonderful looking and colorful carnival style costumes. Now, the dreamer reports that they were allowed to walk around the space and look at the different things that were going on, but finally got to a point where apparently they outstayed their welcome and they were excluded, and the dream ends there. So, what's going on with this warehouse and all of this activity? Well, we'll try to break things down as always and see what's going on. The first thing that I looked at was the warehouse. And a warehouse is a place where you store things or put them to one side, whether it be uh, furniture that you're getting rid of or merchandise to be bought and sold, is stored in a warehouse. Now, my question here for the dreamer is there an area of the dreamer's life that, in essence, has been put to one side or stored or away in some fashion? There was a film studio that was taking place, or that was housed in this warehouse, where movies, TV shows, and things of that nature can be filmed. And my question here for the dreamer was, well, is there anywhere where in the dreamer's life where they're storing dreams or scenes from their life that they no longer want or dislike, or perhaps are to be sold or put out there in future? There were various rooms in this warehouse with various activities and episodes and stages that were going on, and it made me wonder whether there are different stages or parts of the dreamer's life that are being parked, essentially, or being put into a warehouse. Now, the universe is also very clever and uses various devices to get our attention in our dreams, including plays on words. And the warehouse itself, it's spelled WARE, house, but it could also be a play on words where it's where, WHERE, as in location, is the dreamer housing their life or some part of their life at the moment. So where housed something or other in the dreamer's life. So has there been some kind of shift in their environment, whether at home or at work, or in their relationships in some way, that have been put aside or stored away in some fashion? Now, moving on to this director of this studio, is only identified as being a woman. Was this woman known to the dreamer or not? Was this a stranger in essence? Now, on a psychological level, I wonder whether this female director could actually be the dreamer's anima, or the inner female that every male has, as just as every female has an inner male or animus. Now, the anima, the female energy, speaks to relationships, connectedness. And I wonder if for the dreamer, if there's something about relationships or connectedness that may be an issue for the dreamer. Now, there are a number of actors and performers in costume and in this studio, most of which were women, and in acting out in these various scenes. Now, I don't know if it was a play or just what, but they were acting or performing in these various scenes. And it brings to mind the thing that Shakespeare said, that we were all basically we were all players in in the game of life, or on the stage of life, entering and exit as we go along. And I just wonder here, if for the dreamer, if there's some kind of role that they're playing, whether it's a wanted one or a major part. Is it their story? Is it someone else's story? Are they a bit player, or are they a main character? But my question here specifically for the dreamer is there an area of their life where they feel that they're playing a role or acting out some kind of fantasy, or just what? And or perhaps would like to play some kind of role, or take part in some kind of fantasy, um, of some kind or other. Now, the dreamer here is not actually participating in the activity that's going on in this studio. The dreamer is an observer. And I wonder here if the dreamer is actually observing something or someone that is unrelated or no longer related to the dreamer themselves. There could be the dreamer, in a sense, is observing their own life, kind of standing outside of it and looking at life. It's perhaps examining things in their life. And my question to the dreamer here is there some part of the dreamer's life that they are kind of standing back from and observing in some way? And my other question is, how does the dreamer feel about being on the outside looking in, observing all of this stuff going on? It's bright, it's colorful, there's lots going on, but they're unable, or maybe even unwilling, to participate. How does that feel? And then we get to the part where the dreamer overstayed their welcome. And the dreamer is essentially indicated, has been, there was an indication, or being outrightly told, that they needed to leave this space, this studio, this world of color and fantasy, and rejoin the real world. And my question here for the dreamer, is there an area where the dreamer has basically been told that they need to leave, that they need to, you've overstayed your welcome, it's time for you to go? Is there some area of the dreamer's life that feels like that, or has actually occurred in waking life, where there's some aspect of their life, or some relationship that they had to leave, because he had overstayed his welcome in some way? And how does the dreamer feel about that? Being expulsed or expelled, basically, from this bright and colorful world. How does that feel? Is that something that the dreamer welcomed? Do they feel regret about that? What exactly is the feeling behind being told to remove themselves from this place? And finally, my last question here for the dreamer is, does the dreamer at some level long to return to this colorful and bright and vibrant, apparently, scene? And how that relates to their waking life is an area of the dreamer's life where they're longing to return to a particular time or place in their in their past, maybe even their present, but it would seem that this might be something that's in the past, and that they're looking at it or re-examining it, and finding that nope, I'm no longer welcome there. This is no longer the place for me. And is there an area of the dreamer's life that feels like that? That it's something that it's best that it stay where it's as it was nice, it was good, it was real, but time to move on. So there you have it. You have colorful costumes and outstayed welcomes and warehouses. And I put the question to the dreamer again: where housed is the dreamer? Where is the dreamer housed at right now, as opposed to being in a warehouse, a place of storage? So there you have it. And if you have a dream that you find difficult to get through and understand, and it's not really just a dodgy takeaway dinner or cheap wine that's causing it, get in contact. The details are there below. www.meetingwithsheila.com, and book a free mini assessment to get some tips on how to look at your dream and draw the information that it contains. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a great evening and rest of the week, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.